Document E, the duties of the Caliph. Content notes. Al-Mawardi was an Iraqi Muslim legal scholar who wrote the Ordinances of Government in the late 900s or early 1000s. This codified the role of the Caliph, or Imam, that had developed over the 300 years since Abu Bakr was named the first Caliph. In early Islam, the titles Imam and Caliph were used interchangeably to refer to the political and religious leader of the Muslim community. The term Caliph has not been used officially since 1924, when the Republic of Turkey, which replaced the last Muslim empire, abolished it. Initially, the offer to enter into the pact was extended only to Jews and Christians, whom Muslims considered people of the book. Later, in some parts of the Muslim empire, it was extended to Zoroastrians, Hindus, Buddhists, and others. Those who entered the pact could continue to practice their own religion and were entitled to protection by the Caliph and his armies. However, in return, the groups were expected to be loyal to the ruler. In addition, they had fewer political and legal rights, and they had to pay the jizya. Not all Muslim rulers implemented this policy, nor was it applied uniformly, but in general, Muslim empires tolerated people of other faiths. So, prior to reading this, we should discuss the meaning of the word jihad. Often it is translated as holy war. This is only partly accurate, as the literal translation of the word is strive, struggle, or effort. This means striving or struggling to fulfill the will of Allah, as Islam means submission to the will of Allah. Muhammad advocated for both a greater jihad and a lesser jihad. The greater involved the internal struggle to be an ideal Muslim and live up to the requirements of the 5 pillars and the religion in general. Lesser jihad is the fight against an outer enemy, waging war according to the rules set out by Allah in the Quran and by Muhammad's example in his lifetime. Document E. Source: Abu al-Hasan al-Mawardi, The Ordinances of the Government, circa 975 CE. Note: in 632, following the death of Muhammad, the first caliph, a spiritual leader, sometimes called an imam, was selected to lead the Muslim community. Over the next 3 centuries, the duties of the caliph were firmly established. The excerpt below, from a book of Islamic law written by an Arab judge in the 10th century, outlines 5 of the 10 public duties of the caliph. The Ordinances of Government. 1. To maintain the religion according to established principles and the consensus of the first generation of Muslims. If some dubious person deviates from it, the imam must clarify the proofs of religion to him, expound that which is correct, and apply to him the proper rules and penalties, so that religion may be protected from injury and the community safeguarded from error. 2. To execute judgments between litigants, people involved in lawsuits, and to settle disputes between contestants, so that justice may prevail and so that none commit or suffer injustice. 3. To defend the lands of Islam and to protect them from intrusion, so that people may earn their livelihood and travel at will without danger to life or property. 4. To enforce the legal penalties for the protection of God's commandments from violation and for the preservation of the rights of his servants from injury or destruction. 6. To wage jihad, or holy war, against those who, after having been invited to accept Islam, persist in rejecting it, until they either become Muslim or enter the pact, so that God's truth may prevail over every religion. Note: the pact was an arrangement often made by Muslim rulers that permitted conquered Christians, Jews, and other non-Muslims to continue to practice their religion if they paid a special tax called the jizya and obeyed Islamic laws.